I'd like to welcome you all to another edition of In the Bleachers. Today is the preview for Week 4, and as we tape this is September 26th. And before I introduce my two co-hosts, I would just like to say that we don't have a way of tracking complete viewership, but we can tell by the emails how well. And last week we got over 100 emails concerning our show. So we appreciate the thoughts. Some of the language that was used involving Coach Wallace was wrong. I know him. He is not capable of doing some of those things you've asked him to do.
Impossible.
Yeah. But either way, as long as you spell our names right and 100 people are taking time to write about what they saw, keep it up. With that being said, Coach Wallace and Rich Flera. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Boy, when you upset people, you upset them.
Who knew?
If you're going to ruffle feathers, you may as well get good, you know?
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys, let's jump right in. The overview of last week's game, and again, we'll have time to talk about the field goal and some of the other stuff, but just the thoughts on what it's like to be 1-2. Coach?
Tough. Oh, I'm not used to it. When was the last time we 1-2? I should have looked that up, but I don't even remember that.
Long time.
Long time. So I did see some stat that we were less than 5. It's been almost 7 years since we were less than 500 or something.
It was the opening day of the Laura Malloy game. Right, when we lost to Buffalo. We were 0-1. That's the last time we were below 500.
Wow.
And then good things happened that year, so hopefully we repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you said before we started taping, Dave, I mean, although it's 1-2 and looking at the standings, you see the Jets and Buffalo both ahead of us. I mean, that's just insane.
That's smoke and mirrors. So.
It's early. But you know what? I still don't really feel that bad about it. I mean, because it's like we got our losses out of the way now. Now we can get really serious about it and cruise through the season
and also,
instead of having this undefeated thing hang over our
Yeah,
head,
and Arizona and Baltimore aren't tomato cans. You know, I mean, Baltimore's all right in Arizona, but sometimes there's something to be said for having some losses. I mean, if you got them, you embrace them, right? I mean,
yeah.
Rich?
Out of division.
Well, you can be 1-2, and then you can be 1-2 the way we are, where you should have won both games, and we should potentially be 3-0. I mean, we literally lost both games on a last-second field goal, and it's better than being blown out both those games.
Right.
I think our defense. I mean, we played a little porous. Not little. We did play porous the other night, but
500 yards is porous.
Yes, they're young. They're gonna progress, and with the young guys, I mean, they held up there and they pretty much got rid of Chandler Jones after the first quarter.
You just used the word hold, and maybe it was a Freudian slip. If you, because I keyed on that, and we talked about it last week, to watch this kid in Orr, you know, I mean, the other side Orr, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
the blind side there.
The blind side. He's the other side. He was the side that kept holding. He held him every single play. I know the defense let a lot of points get down the board, but I think as far as the effort goes, I still think they're solid. A lot of good tackling, a lot of good things to be concerned about. But the 30, though, that's an abomination when you think of all the refs. We're not going to get into the refs now, but really, you can't talk about that game without bringing them up.
Oh, no,
well,
but
it was horrible.
I just don't want to spend all 30 minutes talking about it.
No, everyone's been doing it. Let's not do that.
But real quickly, the defense started playing poorly after a poor call. It's not acceptable. It's inexcusable.
Yep.
But we were 13-0. We held them to 3-and-out on their first 2 possessions, and then they were about to go 3-and-out again on a phantom Gerard Mayo pass interference call. They don't call that. We get the ball back, maybe score, go up 20-0, and then we ride it home from there. And the defense momentum, I mean, it changed everything, that whole one play. Inexcusable still to give up 31 points. So with that said, I still think I'd love to see this team again because I think it'll be a different scenario.
Yeah, maybe that might just happen.
I think you may see him. Okay, guys, we're gonna give little report cards each week now, at least until we get too many emails that stop us. But Rich, give me your grade on the offense this week and touch base on where you came up with the grade.
I'm gonna go with a B, and I'm holding back B+ to the A area because I still don't like the way they're utilizing Danny Woodhead. I know he's good for a change of pace, maybe a draw, but you can't give him the ball 3rd and 1 in between the tackles. They run that silly sweep play. I don't like the trickery plays. They got that blown up in the backfield. Tom Brady having a credible game, and you take it out of his hand and you run a silly reverse pass toss play and lose 8 yards, and that drive was stalled right there. But I still give him a B because Brady got on page with Lloyd and Welker, both over 100 yards. Very good there.
Yep.
Gronkowski, everyone. Now the big thing is, where's Gronkowski?
Yeah, where's Gronkowski?
He was blocking. He had the block, and that's just the situation of the game. And he had mismatches on the outside with Lloyd and Welker, so it forced Gronkowski to block more. But I give it a B. I would have liked to see them utilize Ridley a little bit more. For some reason, they went to Woodhead, 3rd and 1 in goal line situations. That's the only part I'm confused and baffled about, which is why I hold back giving them a B+ and an A.
Okay, and are you willing to agree that the offensive line is part of the offense?
Yeah.
That when we're grading, we're not just grading on the skill positions?
I thought they did well. I mean, they, with Gronk included in that offensive line, I thought they protected Brady pretty well until the last drive when Brady got hit. Haloti Ngata came off the edge there. Incredibly, he's a big man, and he came off the edge and tattooed him twice. But until then, I thought they played pretty well. They held their own against a very good Baltimore front. So
I give him a C. And I give him the C for that offensive line. And yes, I know Gronk shorted up, but you know what? I would have liked to see him not have to come in there and be that other lineman. I hated that we took our most offensive weapon and we had to pull him out because we weren't able of getting it done with what we have up there.
But we're still able to score 30 points. So
did you have your time already, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's right now I'm up, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, beautiful. So with that being said, I just a C. They did score 30, and no one can take that from them. But I didn't see the. We've all been around long enough. We know when the Patriots are clicking and when they ain't clicking. And I didn't see a bunch of clicking go. Yes, did they score it? Yes, because Tom Brady is Tom Brady and always will be. I didn't see a cohesive unit. Coach?
Yeah, no, for all the same reasons, like C+, somewhere in the middle. And it's C+ more so for the play calling, I think, than the execution. I know Josh Daniels is, they got a lot of high hopes and bringing him back. And you can see the familiarity already, just the way they communicate in the sidelines, kind of cool. You get your offensive coordinator sitting with your quarterback after every play, where you didn't see that with O'Brien last year. I mean, there was a couple of times they yelled at each other, actually, So I like seeing that, but, C+ only because, you're right, well, what are they doing trick plays for, man, I didn't understand a lot of that, but 30 points, you should win the game.
They get the greatest quarterback that ever played the
game.
Yeah,
that's worth a couple of points around the board.
They don't need to be doing that stuff.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row, they did it against Arizona with a flea flicker that went nowhere, too.
Yep.
Okay, we'll start off with you, Coach. Give me an overall grade on the defense.
Defense, even though they gave up the 31, I guess, right, would be, I'd give them a B+. A B+. I thought the effort was there. I think that all the ingredients are there for what they're going to need to do for the rest of the season. I see really good things for this defense. And for that particular game, hey, that was a good offense. I knew it was going to be high scoring. It's Monday night, It's just geared for high points. And I pretty much saw the game I thought I would, except I thought we'd be on the winning age of it. Bottom line,
Rich?
C-, and that's basically for the inability to make the big play. Devin McCourty could have ended 2 drives with sure picks, dropped them both. Kyle Arrington could have made a pick, couldn't keep his footing. The inability to make that big play was crucial because the calls weren't going our way, and you needed to step up and make that play. They had 3 of those. Well, McCourty definitely had the 2 opportunities. I know Arrington lost his footing. Inexcusable by McCourty to drop those passes. Also inexcusable for him to completely whiff on Dennis Pitta going down the sideline and letting him into the end zone. So for the inability to step up and make the big play, the plays that would have turned around the game, because on both his dropped interceptions, those turned into scoring drives. So C- for the inability to come up with the big play.
Okay.
Yep. Sorry, I was just going to say, and I'm pretty sure I didn't see Flacco hit the ground once. So
no, and if it was, it would have been on Chandler Jones's watch. But unfortunately, he was getting held every play. So, but anyway, I'm whining too much about that.
I was gonna go with a C. C- wouldn't kill me either. And you know what? My big thing was he had all day. The old, he had time for a Coke and a hot dog back there.
We're hoping to see a little change in that day, right? That's what we're talking about.
And maybe it was that they were able to just hold all game. I don't know. But I know what I saw after the first game, I was beginning to think days of yore, and then all day long. He just had a certain point at 7 seconds, it was like you think, well, I might as well throw it. I mean, what the heck?
Yeah.
But I didn't see it. A C is what I gave it. Special teams, Rich?
I thought the special teams played pretty well. I'd give them a C+, B- area, just on the fact they didn't mess up, but they didn't do anything to help our cause either.
I can't even think of a play that sticks out that they made, so I can't give them a high or low mark on that.
But one more quick thing about the defense. How many times do we as Patriot fans have to see a team drive down the field with 2 minutes left in the game to win it? I mean, this is getting old. The defense needs to come up with a big stop. They just can't. So it's just, that is, as a Patriot fan, is starting to drive me crazy. Not only the inability to make the big play, the inability to get the big stop when we need to get the ball back.
At the end of the game.
So I want to jump in. Earlier, as you're aware, the fire marshal was here, and we had to take one person and take him out because we were at full capacity. A person has left after throwing a tomato at you, I guess. I don't know what happened. They didn't catch it on camera. Anyways, we are going to allow the fly will be coming in. And from what I understand, the fly will be coming on and doing our Fab Four, as he did last week. I got a lot of people. In fact, part of those 100 emails were people saying, we hate you, talking to me.
Yeah.
You know, for 8 years, you've been polluting our living room. Why don't you let the young guy, Wallace, stay?
Certainly not talking about this guy.
No, when they say young, no.
He is my younger brother.
So I guess so that we can keep some type of viewership, I guess I'm being told to leave.
All I know is you're in first place in the Fab Four after letting them make your picks last week. So
there you go. I forgot the yellow fly. So we'll do it the same as last time. While you guys are doing your thing, me and Fly will do the mystery thing when we're doing the reviews of the Fab Four last week.
Sounds good.
Okay. Let's grade the refs, guys. Rich.
I'll go. I'm not going to go hard on them. I'll go C, only because they're thrown into a firestorm. They're doing the best job to their ability. They're not supposed to be out there. They shouldn't be out there. And it's like taking, a kid out of architect school and saying, go design me the Empire State Building or something.
Now, Rich, can I jump in? Now, I know you're a little younger than me. I'm probably a lot younger. But back when I took tests, they didn't grade me on whether I was in over my head or not. They graded me on how many I got right and how many I got wrong. And I just...
Yeah, but were you supposed to be taking those tests?
With special tests.
Well, otherwise I would have been in the first grade
These
when I
refs
was 18
shouldn't
years
be
old. They had to push
These
me.
refs aren't supposed to be here.
But they're taking the check, right, Rich? They're cashing it. They are cashing their paycheck, as far as I checked. So I'm just saying, why can't they be graded on what they are accepting payment to do? If they're not capable of doing it, they shouldn't do it. They should say, hey, we shouldn't. I'm just saying, I just refuse to cut them slack for being totally incompetent. They are cashing a paycheck. They are scabs. They are scabs who are cashing a paycheck and doing one hell of a crummy job. And I'll be darned if I'm going to let them off the hook.
Sounds like Washington.
There you go.
What's your grade of the refs, Dave?
F. They should be out there. That's an embarrassment.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the biggest issue I have, and I'll pass on to you.
Yeah.
Isn't that they're lousy? They are. We're all accountable in this world. And when the head coach of a football team comes over and tries to at least ask a question.
Yep.
He wasn't in his face. He wasn't. No, he was behind him.
It clearly wasn't a punch.
You at least, don't you owe it to the head coach to stop and say, we're going to replay it, we're not going to but to ignore him.
The real refs would have stopped.
Of course they would have.
The real refs don't run off the field like that.
Because they would have given some respect.
I agree with that. Professionalism.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they jar at each other all the time.
Exactly. And to just ignore it and not be accountable, that is where they show they don't belong there. Coach?
Yeah, I kind of see both sides. You're right. They're putting us in an almost impossible situation. I would think it is impossible for us to be sitting and talking about how well the refs had done if this was a non-issue, right? Because, they would have to do an impeccable job. And I'm not even sure the real refs, when they come back, which hopefully when this airs this weekend, we'll be looking at real refs, hopefully. But you're right. They are in the job, so let's call it what it is. And it's a D or an F because, when it all culminated on Monday night and you're looking at the final play of Monday Night Football, and it's an unconscionable play where, it's just basically...
From the booth, we're being told an F. Not to
all right.
If you ask me to grade the NFL, the NFL gets the F. Because
sir, the reason I jump in is that is our next question, and I have already decided I'm going to allot my time to you, so you will get double time to talk on that.
No, you can get it.
No, I want you to. I want you to. But anyways, we done there?
Yeah, we're done.
No, I want to give it to you, but this is the next question. grade Goodell's handling of the whole referee mess.
F-. I give Goodell an F-. He is an arrogant SOB, and I think that their failure to do background checks, a simple background checks before hiring these guys, is just terrible. They have the Saints guy in the Saints Facebook going to ref a Saints game. They have a former Seattle employee who's reffed a Seattle Seahawks football game.
Yep.
And not only that, the guy on Monday night who made the bad call went to a referee school over the summer, and he was told he wasn't good enough for Division I. So why don't we hire that guy to do Monday Night Football? It's the failure of the NFL and Roger Goodell that has caused this firestorm.
I like
you
when I
know?
see the fire.
He's got a great point.
The refs are doing a bad job, but they're doing the best to their ability. And this guy wasn't even supposed to be doing Division I, and now he's doing the NFL, and we think he can just come in there and do the right job. All the fault falls on Roger Goodell and the NFL and Park Avenue, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
How about the owners? I mean,
the owners too, but the owners, it's the NFL's job to protect the shield and the integrity of the game. And I saw Steve Young and Trent Dilfer pretty much get emotional the other night talking about the product that they've built and just basically having these guys just come in with no good intentions for it and just basically try and dismantle it with these shenanigans. Just get it done.
One of the refs' resumes it was basically that he had worked in the lingerie league. You know? And you do have to put it on Goodell. He's the guy at the, you talked about accountability earlier, Dave. There's the guy that's got to be accountable. But I got to think, though, at some level, it's the owners pulling him aside in a room that closes the door and says, listen, we're going to hardball these guys, and we want you to hold fast, and you're the face of the shield, so you got to go take the hit. The owners run that league, though. So, I mean, I know he's taking a hard stance, and and the killer was to review that play on Monday night and actually have a chance to take it back and make it right, and they still didn't. So now it's completely on the league, and they thought that they could put one good ref in the booth and basically have the game covered. Well, that just went up in smoke on that game. Yeah, that's why I think you're seeing them all rambling around, and I think you'll see real referees this week.
I mean, the final numbers come down to $100,000 per team. That's couch cushion money for these guys.
They're going to end up getting that in fines from each team. Yeah. And when they have $3 million, they can basically say that it didn't cost them anything. And it come out of everyone's pocket.
They underestimated the importance of them doing it right. They thought they were a commodity, and they are not a commodity. They're skilled at what they do.
Yep.
And I agree totally with Mr. Flara. And I don't agree with you at all, Coach.
Good.
The buck stops with... The buck stops with Goodell, too, because Goodell cashes his paycheck, too.
A very big one.
Yeah, he cashes his paycheck, and the bottom line is he's failed to execute, failed to do his job, and...
arrogance has blinded him.
Yeah, and he made a statement. Well, he's made the statement for 2 years when it's involved finding guys and nothing will get in the way with the integrity of the shield.
Yeah.
Well, that ain't true, is it, Mr. Goodell?
Yep.
Because you have gotten away the integrity of the shield.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have been our worst own enemy. Gosh, we pay $8 for sodas and $10 for cheeseburgers. Just pay the refs and give us a product for 16 weeks.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't help but thinking, somewhere wherever those people go after they die, what's Pete Rozelle looking down on his game thinking today? After that debacle, really, there's a guy that brought it to where it's at. You could say it was the owners. It was Pete Rozelle's league, and it still is, always will be. And to look down and see that crap that went on this weekend, it must make him ill, even though he's probably in a place where you don't get ill a lot.
Yeah.
Well, to your point, Dave, Roger Goodell wants to talk about integrity and player safety. He's doing nothing to that to help this player safety. Because I'm seeing guys get cheap shotted, getting held, hold, this, that.
Fights.
I mean, Monday night, Greg Jennings going down the field and gets completely decleated on a cheap shot. And these players are taking full. It's like having a substitute teacher. You're going to get away with everything you can until someone else comes into the classroom who's a higher authority saying, enough of this.
This is a black mark on Goodell's legacy. I totally believe it is.
Clearly, Dave. People remember this.
Oh, and how about if without getting into it, but the Packers, how about if they missed the playoffs because of one game?
Oh, that can happen. That's what it comes down to a lot of times, right?
Of course it can. Yeah. Well, guys, I'm going to move on. Coach, you have it from here. I guess we're going to review the Fab Four, then we're going to do the fly picture, then do this week's Fab Four, and then Rich is going to hit us with the fantasy tips. And again, the people of Merrimack have spoken loudly. They don't like seeing me on TV.
Merrimack speaks, Dave listens.
Sometimes I do.
Sometimes you do. Well, anyway.
Sometimes I do.
Well, I guess we'll talk about the Fab Four last week, and that shouldn't take too long at all because, oh my word, it would be terrible.
A lot of upsets last week.
Yeah, and we seem to have all the games on the wrong side of those upsets too, my friend. So, I don't know, just to go through the numbers real quickly, we all picked the Pats, so clearly we had some problems with that pick. We all picked Pittsburgh as well, and that was a real surprise to see them go down.
Jumped out to a early lead.
High-scoring game, but Oakland comes back, takes him 38-31, I think.
That was another game with a dirty play. Darius Hayward-Bay almost got his head decapitated.
Absolutely.
He had to spend the night in the hospital.
It wasn't called.
I don't believe it was. So, I mean, that's just another player safety issue.
Yeah. Again, let's not belabor the refs. It's been done, and it's been done to death, so we'll just let it go. The third game of the Fab Four last week was the Miami-New York game, and we all picked the Fish, and it serves us right for all losing because you should never win picking the Miami Dolphins.
The Fish should have won. They had 2 field goals they could have won the game with.
Yeah, did you get a chance to see? That was a national game, actually.
Yeah, I was watching it, and the Dan Carpenter, the field goal kicker, needs to cut his hair because maybe that's getting in the way of the missed field goal.
He looked like the guy in the Replacements, didn't he? I almost wanted to see a cigarette butt go
before
he kicked it, you know?
Little ole.
Where'd they find him, man? Some bar in Fort Lauderdale looked like
dragged him out of Margaritaville.
So obviously he's not a big star in Miami anymore. And the last game was the Cowboys-Bucks game. You guys picked the Cowboys. I took the Bucks to be just to be different, and it hurt me. So you guys went 1-3, you instead of Dave. So I went 0-4 last week, guys. So when you roll it all up and look at where we stand, unfortunately, this is how it is to say, Dave is leading 5-7. And Rich, you and I are bringing up the rear at 4-8. So we get some serious comeback to do here.
So basically, listen to our picks and pick the opposite.
Go the other way. So with that, Dave has left the building, and the Fly once again has joined us. Great to have you back, Scotty.
Thanks for having me.
Let's hope we do better with you on board for this week, huh?
And one thing before we start, I just want to say about the referees and everything. Can you imagine how much money changed hands on that last play on Monday night in Vegas?
Between 150 million and 250.
Tell me the casinos are not thrilled right now.
I've actually heard some guy say, the Vegas guy, say he's adding a half point to every home team because of what's going on right now.
So it's changing the line. Bodog, if I'm not mistaken, Bodog was issuing refunds.
Yeah.
And that's never happened. So not a refund as if you won, but a no-bet refund if people got all animated about it. And I've never heard of Vegas giving money back. You don't win money, but you don't lose money. So that's you talk about diminishing the product. I mean, that's you're in territory that's never been seen before.
One more step in your WWE.
The XFL.
There you go.
Bring it back.
Right.
All right, well, let's do Fab Four for this week, all right? So, as usual, the first game of Fab Four is the Pats game. So, Pats at the Bills. We go to, I guess, the Fly.
That's the Pats, because I'm a homer, number one. And number two, a homer. We had said this last week. Homer, homely, same thing. But I don't see...
Hey, what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I know.
Dave has returned.
Yeah. But I just don't see the Pats going 1-3. If they do, it's just going to be. I just don't see it.
I think Buffalo's going to walk into a buzzsaw, and we scored 30 on Baltimore. I don't see how Buffalo can stop us from scoring 30. I don't see us giving up 31 because, for one, C.J. Spiller will be out, their dynamic playmaker, and I'm not too sure how healthy Fred Jackson's going to be because of this Spiller injury. They're probably rushing him back.
Yep.
So I'm not too sure how their offense is going to be clicking, and I see us pretty much winning this one handily.
Yeah, I agree with all those points. I guess the key to the game to me would be our ability to get to Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
If you can get to him and not give him the time to make some decent passes, I think the secondary steps up. You hold the running game down, which has been what their strongest has been. All right, so Pats. All right, no big surprise there. Second game of Fab Four is San Diego at Kansas City. Rich, why don't we start with you?
I'm going to go with the Chiefs. This one's a tough one. The Chiefs are coming off a win in New Orleans. Romeo finally has the Chiefs clicking on cylinders here. Chargers coming off a tough loss to Atlanta, but Arrowhead's such a tough place to play. Yeah. And I think with the Chiefs riding high going into it, I think that this one's going to be a really good football game, maybe a 2017 game like that. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm thinking field goal either way. Yeah, divisional. What do you think, Scotty?
I'm thinking the Chiefs. To be honest with you, I was very impressed with that New Orleans game. I didn't think they were that good. And with San Diego, they're a hit or miss. I've never been a Norv Turner fan myself. But I just don't like. And
How
Rich
many fans are there out there that just say, "Hey, I'm a North Turner"? Probably not a hell of a lot.
Probably not even
anyway.
North Turner. But hey. But Rich makes a good point. Arrowhead Stadium is going to be one of the toughest home venues in the league. That is just a nasty place to play if you're not a Chief. So I'm going with the Chiefs.
All right, and I'm going to go with San Diego for all the reasons you said, because as Rich pointed out earlier, if you just go the other way, sometimes you need to pretty good. So I go San Diego. I'm a big North Turner fan.
So there's two of them now. Okay,
yeah,
good.
2 of them now. So third game of the Fab Four is the Saints go to Green Bay and take on, talk about a buzzsaw, Rich.
Yeah.
This team has just got to be very upset, I meant to say, with the crazy call last week. So, Scott, why don't you start? What do you think going to Green Bay?
Green Bay. New Orleans is just, they are so rudderless without their coach, and it's showing now. I mean,
who knew that a coach would be so important? Huh?
Yeah, exactly. With all the talent on that team, and plus they had the big scandal with their defense and with Bountygate and everything. But I just don't see Green Bay losing this. No.
Okay, so you're gonna go Green Bay. Rich, how about you?
I'm gonna go Green Bay for one simple reason: New Orleans defense ranks dead last, and I think Aaron Rodgers, who had his first game without a touchdown pass this past week, goes absolutely bananas, and Green Bay is going to completely annihilate them. And who would have thought that? No, I know not enough can be made about the Sean Payton loss, but 0-4 the Saints will fall to if they lose.
And that's why I'm going to pick the Saints, because I don't see them going 0-4, and I see a crazy high scoring. Take the over. That's probably the biggest, strongest play I see next week. Whatever that over is, probably going to be in the high 40s, early young 50s. Love the Saints in a shootout. So we'll leave it at that. And the final game this week, guys, is the Giants go to Eagles, which is the classic Eagles-Giants matchup. There's a lot of hatred in between those cities. So I'll start with that one. I think the Eagles at home are probably going to be able to hold on here. I think Vic has probably got a couple more weeks before he gets some sort of crazy injury and is out for a few more weeks. So I'll take the Eagles at home, and because I hate the Giants. Scotty?
I'm not too fond of the Giants too, but for some reason they always pull these games out. I'm going with the Giants last drive type, win by 3, win by 4. They've torn too many people's hearts out, especially ours, as you know.
I know it.
But they, for some reason, they always find a way to weasel their way in and then just run off the field winners. So I'm going with the Giants.
I'm going Giants for one simple reason. Michael Vick has accounted for 9 turnovers this season. The Giants' defense makes turnovers. So with that, I think it's simple math. Giants win.
All right. Sit-ems and play-ems real quick, Rich. We'll finish our 2-minute warning here on the Blitz.
I will fly through it. Darren McFadden at Denver. These are starts. Darren McFadden at Denver. Jamal Charles versus San Diego. Cedric Benson versus Green Bay. New Orleans run defense last in the league. Mikel Lesor versus Minnesota. Eric Decker home against Oakland. Dwayne Bowe versus San Diego. Arizona's defense at home against Miami. Must start. Peyton Manning versus Oakland. Joe Flacco at home. His last 7 home games. At least 2 passing touchdowns versus Cleveland. No Joe Hayden. Sit. Sean Green versus San Francisco. Chris Johnson, get him on your bench. Trent Richardson at Baltimore. Des Bryant has done nothing this year. Jay Cutler, cut him. Eli at Philadelphia. Brendan Marshall.
Cut Eli too while you're at it. All right, well, with that, folks, let's hope the Patriots do better than they did last week. And next week we sit here and we're sitting at 2-2. Go Pats, everybody.
Go Pats.